We're going to begin on the bottom of page 188. 188. Esa einai el heharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Esa einai el heharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz. Esa einai el heharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Esa einai el heharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz. Ezri me'im Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz. Esa einai el heharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Esa einai el heharim me'ayin Yavo Ezri.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good Shabbos to all of you, all of our members, those who I haven't seen in a little while, and those of you who are visiting tonight, perhaps who are here to honor Audrey Lieberstein, her family. I'm going to be calling up very shortly to light our candles, and Gary's going to come up later in the service to offer some words, as will I. Audrey was an active member of this congregation. She passed recently at the age of 101. I was with her on her birthday, and I consider myself very lucky. So we are here not only to celebrate Shabbat, but also to celebrate Audrey's memory and her life. Now, what I did last week, I'd like to do again because I got very good feedback about it. And that is, a synagogue, you've probably heard me say before, is really three things. It's a Beit Tefillah, it's a house of prayer. It's a Beit Midrash, it's a house of study. But it's also a Beit Knesset, it's a house of gathering, where we get together to share in one another's grief, to support one another, but also to celebrate one another's happy moments, our simchas. So what I'd like to do is ask, for those of you who are comfortable sharing, anyone who's here, whether you're a member or a visitor, to share with us over the last week or so an oi or a joy. So if you've had something wonderful happen, why don't you share it with our community? And if something challenging has happened and you're comfortable sharing that, why don't you do that? So anyone have any oys or joys that they'd like to share with us? And maybe just give us your name also.
I'm Vicki Ray. I'm Audrey's daughter. And I just had a huge joy because I didn't know that her granddaughter Rachel, my niece, was going to be here with her 4-month-old, 3-month-old son and her other 2 boys, Eddie and Gideon. So I'm overjoyed to see them here. It was a wonderful surprise.
So that's a joy.
That's a joy.
I'm happy to hear that. That's great. Yes. And the mic is also because we have people watching at home.
My name is Elizabeth Sagehorn. I met Audrey about 3 years ago. She was one of the first people I met, and I moved into the Meadows and didn't know, well, I knew 2 people, but other than that, I felt totally alone. And Audrey, my God, she just, came right up to me and, "Who are you, darling?" And I introduced myself, and I sat with her for so many meals, and we made a doctor's appointment, and she said, and I knew she was old, But she said, oh, I have to go to this doctor. I said, well, just give me the address and I'll put it in my phone and it'll take us right there. And she said, oh, no, I know the directions. And I thought, oh, here we go, be lost forever. And she took us right there, knew every single turn, every single, I admired her so much, and I am so grateful for her friendship.
Thank you. And thank you for being here tonight to honor her memory. Other oys and joys that maybe have nothing to do with Audrey, maybe something else in your life, or about Audrey. Anyone else want to share anything? Okay, well then, we do have another. None of our members are raising their hands. It's very interesting.
I'm Lee Phillipson. My family arrived here in 1984. In 1992, became friends with a young lawyer by the name of Gary Lieberstein. We both were in the DA's office. Years later, Gary would be my supervisor. I was his assistant for 10 years in the DA's office. And during that time, there was a time when we were rivals. Our friendship took a hit for a little while. And Marlon and Audrey were so sweet and kind, always, to me and my family during that time, and always. And when I saw her last, and I should say that our friendship after that returned and was better than ever, Gary and mine, and Patty and Rachel. And God bless you, Rachel, and your husband and your wonderful family. In any event, make a long story short, the last time I saw Audrey was in this room for Jerry Mountner's memorial. And she was the same sweet, wonderful person that I'd gotten to know over the years. Didn't get to see her as often as I probably wanted to. But she was a blessing. She really was.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be it. There's the oi, of course, as we mourn Audrey, but the joy of all these memories and experiences. Anybody else before we begin our service? Well, what I'd like to do is invite up Audrey's family to come light our Shabbat candles, and you can follow the blessing on page 120 in your prayer books. Matches are fine. Okay. We'll just use matches. Okay. I know how to use that. Yeah, 120. Did you give them a page number? No. Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'ad likneh shel Shabbat. Thank you. Thank you. You want to do Shalom? We're going to continue on page 142 with the singing of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'Shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
We continue on page 144, and it is my honor to invite our adjunct rabbi, Rabbi Art Grant, to come up to the bima. Art's going to be not only giving a short Devar Torah later tonight, but leading services now through the Amidah. With Gordon.
Of course, with Gordon. I just came up here for a chance to catch your cold.
There you go. Thanks for announcing that, too.
It's good to be back. Page 144. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah B'yamad yivarach eretei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei kol Beit Yisrael Bahagala Uvizman Karif Vimru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mavora Le'olam La'al Me'al Maya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalal Shemei Kudesha Brechu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damin Raman Vimru Amen. Please rise on 146.
Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai ha-mevorach Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach Olam va'ed ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed.
On the top of 149, praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of tide of time and light, you guide a current of day into night as heaven spans into eternity, sets course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. On 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And more than we devote ourselves to them, the more it grows within us. What could truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You can be seated. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivdecha b'veitecha uv'lektecha v'aderech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot b'eineinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there by joining hands, marching together.
Yam bam bam bim bim bai ya ba bai bai bim bam. Yam bam bam bim bim bai ya ba bai bai bim bam. Ya la 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 ya ba bai bai bim bam. Ya la 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 ya ba bai bai bim bam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot o sefele. Nora tehilot o sefele. Malachutecha ra'u va'necha. Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Seheli anu ve'amru Adonai yimlo le'olam va'ed. Yam bam bam bim bim bai ya ba bai bai bim bam. Yam bam bam bim bim bai ya ba bai bai bim bam. Ya la 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 ya ba bai bai bim bam. Ya la 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 ya ba bai bai bim bam.
Let there be peace and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up again to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ashivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Shukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu, Shukat Shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We rise for the Amidah on page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עושר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחלחל חיים בחסד. מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר, מחמוך בגבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומטמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. You can be seated whenever you're ready. page 178. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol eit uvechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
At this point in our service, we pause to think of those in need of healing on this Shabbat, healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of heart. And we ask God to bestow the bracha, the blessing of refuah shlema, full and complete healing on the following men and women from our congregation or those known and loved by our community: Ilana Massey, Kevin Brackett, Kirk Whitlatch, Kathy Rotto, Aaron Ledden, Rachel Sadek, Michaela Cohen, Tracy Adams, Kim Stevens, Don Copeland, Nancy Pollock, Pat Shapiro, Denise Robinson, Paula Schwartz Purville, Marty Spitz, Judy Feiner, Alianza Chavez, Ralph Garber, David Margulies, Sherry Levson, Rudy Zeidler, Tom West, Michelle Haas, Joyce Sheffrin, David Samuelson, Doug Gill, Craig Miller, Len Dannon, Donna Mendelson, Judy Nimo, Paul Bisberg, Stacy Bressler, Harriet Lehman, Jolene Jackson, Irving Sten Jr., Megan McCaskey, Susan Early, and Daniel Goldstein. If anyone has a name of someone that they'd like to share at this point, I invite you to share it with us. The Misha Berach prayer is on page 511.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, Kor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos again, and special welcome to those of you who are here both to support Audrey's family or for the first time. We're always happy to see you, and we always welcome new friends. The Torah portion for this week, Tzav, is from early on in the book of Leviticus, the third book in the Torah. And I see a number of people here who are at my last Torah study last Saturday, and we began the exploration of this very interesting, kind of bizarre book, the book of Leviticus, Vayikra in Hebrew, which is very bloody, very gruesome. It's all about animal sacrifice and the tabernacle in the desert and this rigid hierarchical priesthood that served as the conduit between the people and God. And it's a challenging book, and it's a challenging Torah portion, because as we study these sacred texts in modern times, it's sometimes a bit hard to find how they can possibly relate to us in our lives as human beings and as Jews. So I would like to pass the baton and ask Rabbi Grand to offer a few words about how this particular parsha might be meaningful to us tonight. Good luck.
It's easy. I'm going to talk about something else. Something that I think is maybe the central issue of Judaism of the 21st century. 2 years ago on Yom Kippur afternoon, Niles led a discussion of a very important question. Do you have to believe in God to be Jewish? That question has been rolling around my head ever since, and along with it, I've been asking another question. Is Judaism a religion or a people? There are times, particularly as liberal Jews, when these questions seem really important to us. But the important times of life, when we're lost, when we're sick, when we've lost a loved one, these questions can seem less important. At those moments, we ask a different kind of question. Why is this happening to me? Where can I find help? How can I make sense of my life? We spend our lives trying to find meaning, and we try to put together the story of our lives. I am the one, we say, who lost a job and found a better one. I am the one whose mother has cancer. And we try to find meaning by connecting to a larger story, a story that connects us to all the generations that came before us and all the generations that will come. And perhaps that's what Judaism is, the story of the love between God and the Jewish people. It's a story that began with Abraham, a story of a lonely God who yearned for human partners to work with him, who yearned for human partners to create a world of love, and a God who knows that we've been making mistakes since the beginning of time. A God who calls out to us every day saying, it's okay. Just try to do better tomorrow. You made a mistake, but you can make it. Come home. And in the end, God doesn't care whether we believe the story. The Yerushalmi, the more obscure version of the Talmud, quotes God as saying, I don't care if people believe in me as long as they walk in my ways, as long as they're kind to each other, as long as they bring love into the world, and as long as they find the goodness in every human being. That's the story of the Jewish people. But there's a problem we face. Over the past decade, Jewish identity in 20 and 30 years old has plummeted. And if you ask them their religion, almost 90% of them will say none. I think the reason for this is simple. No one has told them the Jewish story. The world has taught them a secular story about Judaism as a religion of laws, about Judaism as a religion with a God who judges us and punishes us. And young people don't want any connection with that story. Why would they? Young people are looking for meaning. They're looking for hope. And they're looking for a sense that they can make a difference in the world. And the false story of Judaism has taken that away from them. So I've written a book about the Jewish story. It's called Judaism from the Heart, a Love Story. And it's meant for everyone who's had a bad experience with Judaism. Everybody who's ever experienced a synagogue as cold and alienating. And for everyone who's looking for meaning. It's a thin book, just 60 pages, written in simple language. And it talks about our story, about how we came to be, and how we weave our story into every aspect of Jewish life. And young people aren't the only ones who need it. It's a difficult time for our country. And in this difficult time, we need to find a story. We need to remember that Judaism is the world's greatest story of hope. We need to remember that God took us out of Egypt. And we need to remember that the light of the menorah never goes out. And we need to remember the basic, fundamental truth of the Jewish story. The tyrants come and tyrants go. And the only thing that lasts is acts of kindness. Hi. The book will be published on April 8th on eBay. I'll leave flyers on the front table. And I hope that some of you read it, that it will help you find something, and that you teach it to your children. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Art, for your insights and wisdom, and best of luck with your new book. I look forward to reading it. So I mentioned at the outset that we were celebrating not only Shabbat, but the memory and the life of Audrey Lieberstein, who is so near and so dear to so many of us in this room. And I'd like to take a moment now to invite Gary up to the bima to offer a few words.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Well, I stand in front of you, a man filled with joy, as I look out at the front row, and I see my brother and sister. I see our daughter Rachel and her husband Sam. I see our grandsons and Audrey's great-grandsons, Edison and Gideon and Hugh. And what I'm seeing is Mom's legacy. Her legacy lives within us and carries on with us for the next generations. It was very fitting, the comment from the back row at the start on the joy of meeting Mom in one of her first days in the area, because Mom never knew a stranger. A stranger to Mom was just someone she didn't know. And she went out of her way to meet people and to welcome people. I will also say Judaism was the center of Mom's life. She was very proud of being a Jew. Her social life surrounded for many, many years and years around the synagogue, first in Los Angeles, Temple Beth Hillel, where the three of us were bar mitzvahed and bat mitzvahed, and went through religious school. And when Mom first came to Napa in 1994, one of the first places she contacted was Congregation Beth Shalom. Now, we grew up in a Reform synagogue. Mom did her best to reform this synagogue. One of the first things she did at High Holidays, she was like, "Where's the choir?" And as I understand, for many years, and I don't know if it's been a few years for me, but Mom was partially responsible for bringing the choir and helping to fill this synagogue with music. And for myself in growing up, one of the greatest teachings I took from Judaism and from my parents' upbringing was to leave the world a better place than we found it. And I can certainly say with incredible confidence that Mom left the world a much better place than she found it, and the people that she encountered through life and the people who encountered her. And even up to 101 years, Mom continued to tell us, I don't know why I'm still here, but I'm grateful for every day I have. And she loved life, and she lived to the fullest. And into her 90s, into her hundreds, 96 years old for her birthday, she wanted to go up on a hot air balloon ride in Napa. My wife said, I'm really nervous about this. I said, Mom, I said, honey, Mom has earned the right. I don't call her Mom, don't worry. That'll be our secret, hon. But I said, she's earned the right at 96 years to make that decision. And we had this wonderful flight. Our dear friend Bob Barbarick flew us over the valley. And when we landed very softly, as if on pillows, she looked up and she said, how am I going to get out? And she looked, and these two big guys were on either side of her, and they said, Audrey, it's okay, we have you. And she went like this, and she just did one of those trust falls into their arms. At 97, I said, what do you want to do for your birthday? She said, I'd like to go on one more cruise. I said, okay, Mom. So I found a cruise to Mexico that left from Los Angeles, so David, my brother, could drive her down there. And they went on the cruise for a week. And I was talking on the phone. She got back, and I said, I was teasing, but I said, Mom, did you meet anyone your age? And she went, oh, come on, Gary. and whatever life threw at Mom, she was ready. And at 100 years old, she had a huge birthday. She was 100% present. And I remember talking to someone a few days later and saying, there were 130 people there, and she heard me, and she said, I was told there were 150. I said, okay, Mom, you go. So those of you who had the pleasure and honor to meet Mom, and you know some of us, and we are how we were raised, she lived an incredible life. And she met the love of her life in school at Washington University in St. Louis, and she and my dad were married 58 years. And she outlived Dad by over 23 years. And she loved her life here in the Napa Valley. She loved those of you who came to join us. And on behalf of my family here tonight, and my nephew, Joshua, and his fiancée, Hannah, who couldn't be with us tonight for other commitments. And we also remember our son, Adam, who can't be with us, our late son, who we mourn his passing from 13 years ago. We are all better people because of Mom, and we love her dearly. Again, we thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope you'll stay for Onig, and we can share some more informal stories where I'm not taking up the synagogue's time. But again, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and Rabbi, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words about Mom.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Thanks, Gary. Her bat mitzvah. At 84, she had a bat mitzvah. I knew about it. I didn't know she was 84. Thank you. So I just want to say a couple very, very brief things. I've been here almost 9 years, and over those years, I've gotten to know many members of this congregation and the wider community, and I'm richer for it as a rabbi and as a human being. Audrey has been one of those people, and I have been so honored to spend time with her and get to know her and to celebrate simchas with her. I mentioned earlier that I was with her at the Meadows on her 101st birthday. I don't quite know if she really recognized me. I think she knew it was me at the time, but I saw her prior to that, and she said rabbi, and she knew it was me. And she had a really challenging period in the fall and hung on another several months. And it meant a lot to me that I could be with her on that day, particularly because a year ago, right here, we celebrated her 100th birthday. So what a life, what a legacy, as you said, Gary, and we can see your family and friends, everyone who's gathered here. Audrey was remarkable. Her energy, her passion, her commitment to this community, her opinions. I won't share all of them with you, but there was one particular thing that nagged her that she almost always brought up whenever I saw her at the Oneg afterwards. It related to the time that we started services. But Audrey had strong views, and she was a strong woman. And I'd like to just share a brief passage from the Jewish tradition about strong women. It's called Eshet Chayil. It's from the book of Proverbs, and I think it captures in a profound and ancient way some of the characteristics and values that your mom engendered and lived by. This is from Proverbs 31. Eshet Chayil mi yimatzah, a woman of valor, who can find? She is more precious than fine pearls. Her husband trusts in her, and so he lacks nothing. She does him good, never harm, all the days of her life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need and extends her hands to the poor. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She was always cheerful. She speaks with wisdom. The law of kindness is on her lips. Her children rise up and bless her. Her husband sings her praises. Many daughters have done valiantly, but you excel them all. And you, Audrey, you did excel all of us. We're going to turn now to the Aleinu prayer on page 586. And what I'd like to do, you mentioned Audrey's great-grandchildren. Could we invite them to, would you come up and open the ark for us to honor Audrey's memory? And everyone else, 586, if you're able, please rise. That was terrific, thank you. So why don't you take the right
come on
side?
up here.
You guys can do the left door. Yeah, you can go over to the right side.
Here, you can come over here.
You just open that side. That was perfect. And just keep it open for a few minutes.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula le'yotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo hosamanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtakavim u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Ushemo echad. Here, you can close the door. Good job, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. What a great job of opening and closing the ark. Before we turn to our announcements, I just wanted to offer a prayer for the people of Israel. In this sacred moment, give us hope for Israel and her future. Renew our wonder at the miracle of the Jewish state. In the name of the pioneers who made the deserts bloom, give us the tools to cultivate a diversity of Jewish expression in Israel, pluralism. In the name of our fallen soldiers, give us courage to stand up to the words and ways of the zealots, those in our own midst and those among our neighbors. In the name of Israeli inventors who have amazed the world with their innovations, help us apply the same ingenuity to finding a path to peace. In the name of all these women and men, grant us the strength to conquer doubt and despair in Israel, in this country, and all over the world. Replacing doubt with action, replacing despair with hope. And let us all say, Amen. It is my honor and privilege now to invite up board member Naomi Petrick, who's going to share some important announcements with all of us.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's so lovely to see so many people here to celebrate the life of Audrey. Your words were beautiful. I met Audrey, over 15 years ago, and she was all the things that you said so well, and had so many opinions, as the rabbi said, which I enjoyed. I don't have my glasses, I apologize, so I'll do my best. The most recent CBS newsletter with information on all temple events is available on the CBS website. Join Rabbi Grand for a healing circle tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. There is no religious school this Sunday, or next Sunday, I believe. Part 2 of the rabbi's seminar, Deepen Your Passover Seder, will take place on March 30th. That's like the best sound. Sorry, I got distracted. Celebrate Passover at CBS's second Seder on Thursday, April 2nd. Be sure to register on the website by today. Rabbi Goldstein will be holding Torah study on April 4th at 10:30 a.m. Youth group will be held on Wednesday, April 8th at 7 p.m. Sign up to attend our Yom HaShoah service on Tuesday, April 14th at 7 p.m. April 19th, CBS will have the annual Shred It event in the parking lot from 9 to 12, as well as our Yom HaAtzmaut celebration where we take a trip to Israel without leaving Napa. And it was pretty awesome last year, so hopefully everyone can come. April 20th, come listen to FBI agent Michael Roldan give a briefing on elder fraud and modern scams. Mark your calendars. CBS will hold its annual meeting on Monday, May 11th, where we will discuss and vote on bylaws as well as the incoming Board of Trustees. CBS will have a Rabbi in Residence weekend from May 28th through the 31st with a Schmooze and Shoes fundraiser on May 30th. Reminder, CBS is still participating in the vehicle donation program. Thank you, Effie. Please see the flyer in the lobby if you have a vehicle you would like CBS to benefit from. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by Kathleen, no?
Lieberstein family.
It does say that, but I did know that, by the Lieberstein family. Thank you so much, Gary and family. We'd like to give warm wishes to this week's birthdays and anniversaries. Happy birthday to Helena Cohen, Jonas Kaufman, Talia Orr, Julia Fox, Michelle Frisch, Tabitha Valente Bird, Oliver Shahabi, Kevin Brackett, Joel Samrick. Happy anniversary to Farah and Ralph Garber and Laura Schumer and Sheki Maluso. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. As we near the end of our service, we think of those who are no longer with us. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We remember those who have died during the past year. Barbara Gardner, Mark Reisman, Muriel Mickey Couple, Joel Cohen, Ilana Goldman, Susie Frischman, Judy Lynn, Claude Rua, Alan Jerome Simon, Donna Schechter, Carolyn Goldman, Victor Alcott, Milo Ben Yona Yoshua, Robin Frank, Mark James Milberg, Joan Wilmert, Buddy Melian, Marilyn Szazatska, Joshua Ariel Stulman, Audrey Lieberstein, and Ernie Hine. We also remember and honor the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Fred Herman, Alan Steen, Ray Shapiro, Esther Hadassah Frisch, Fanny Pierce, and Jack Barish. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add, I invite you to please share it with us. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. If you're able, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach herteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeh dechol Beit Yisrael, b'gala uv'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yeheh shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lamei maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all in mourning and comfort to all those who are bereaved, and let us all say amen. Please be seated. Since this is the last Shabbat before Pesach, I want to wish everyone a very happy and joyous Passover. I know many of you I'll see at the second Seder right here next Thursday. But whether I see you or not, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful Pesach. It's a very joyous time of year. It's a time of rebirth. It's a time to celebrate our identities, our community, and I think there's a reason why so many Jews all over the world who are not particularly observant, who do not believe in God, to Art's Devar Torah, still find such meaning and a sense of purpose in Passover. So thank you, Rabbi Grant. Thank you, Gordon. We're going to conclude with our final song, and then we're going to do Kiddush and Motzi together.
Page 625. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nira Le'ed Nasa V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hoveh V'hu Yeh B'tifara V'hu Echad V'ein Sheni V'hamshir Lo L'hachbira V'li Reshit V'li Tachlit V'lo Ha'oz V'hamishra V'hu Eli V'chago Ali V'tzur Shevli B'et Tzara V'hu Nisi Umanos Li M'nat Kosi V'yom Ekra B'yado Afkid Kruchi V'ed Ishan V'a'ira V'im Ruchi Geviyati Adonai Li V'lo Ira.
Let's all rise. And please join us in the Kiddush. Baruch atah
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei
Peri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim. Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz,
Amen.
Patei avon.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.